Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wired Dax Crime. Today, we are looking into the disappearance of Patti Adkins, who went missing in 2001. I would just like to add that the names of the boyfriend and his wife have not been released by law enforcement, so I have purposely omitted them myself. However, for anyone interested in researching the case further, their identities, as well as that of the co-worker who carpooled and potentially knows more information, are publicly available. So let's begin. In June of 2001, Patti Adkins was 29 years old and living in Marysville, Ohio, with her then 7-year-old daughter, McKaylee. Patti worked at the local Honda manufacturing plant, where she had been employed since leaving high school. Over nearly a decade with the company, she steadily worked her way up, eventually becoming a shift supervisor and earning increased responsibility and respect from her co-workers. At the time of her disappearance, she was widely believed to be on track for a significant promotion, something she was openly looking forward to. While Patti's professional life appeared stable and promising, her personal life was more complicated. One of her co-workers, who worked alongside her on the assembly line, had been involved with her on and off for some years, though unfortunately he was already married with children. Patti's best friend and colleague, who worked closely with her, witnessed them playing cards together during breaks and growing increasingly close, as did other co-workers at the plant. It was very clear to those around she was. She dreamt of leaving Marysville to live in the country, raising more children and building a life she imagined sharing with him. She also trusted him deeply when he told her he needed money to secure his future. The boyfriend ran an auto repair shop as a side business, working as a mechanic. He told Patti that he needed funds to buy out his share of the business so that when he divorced his wife, she would not receive half of it. Believing in him and their future together, Patti loaned him $90,000, confident that it was a temporary measure to help them both move towards the life she envisioned. According to one law enforcement officer, the boyfriend may have at first meant to leave his wife, feeling their marriage hadn't turned out as he had expected, but if there is any truth in it, he clearly changed his mind, as it is reported that the marriage remained intact for the following 2 decades. Now I just have to say that looking into this case, it's clear to me that Patti's emotional attachment clearly clouded her judgment. It led her to overlook warning signs, rational concerns, or advice from those who care for her. I think she was guided more by hope and desire than by self-interest. She only imagined the best in this person, despite evidence to the contrary. She was drawn forward by her trust in him, unfortunately, to the point of tragedy. So, in late June, Patti confided in her sister, Marcia, that she and this co-worker had planned a holiday trip together. The vacation was set to begin on a Friday, immediately after Patti finished her shift at midnight at the factory. They were supposedly traveling to Canada. the trip was being kept unusually quiet, as it appears that very few people knew about it. The evening before the trip, Patti made careful arrangements for her daughter and her pets. For the first part of the week, her daughter Michaeli stayed with her father, and midweek she went to stay with her aunt Marcia. Patti also kennelled her cats, and therefore ensuring that everything was in order before taking off for the week. During the initial investigation, Marcia revealed that her sister's boyfriend had explicitly instructed her not to pack any clothes for their Canadian getaway, saying he would purchase all necessities once they crossed the border. But despite the boyfriend's instructions, Patti had planned to bring a teal-coloured duffel bag containing an item from Victoria's Secret, which was likely lingerie. Well, this bag and its contents have never been found, which raise further questions as to their whereabouts. He also told her she would need to hide in the bed of his truck while he dropped off a friend before they began the trip, and that they were headed to a remote cabin that would have no cell service. The boyfriend had also installed a brand new truck bed cover the day before their planned vacation. Patti had told her sister and her co-worker friend about this plan. She was going to clock out early so she could get into the back of the truck and hide under the bed cover, which would minimize the risk of being seen by other co-workers who knew that he was already married. It has been sadly heavily suggested that she may have suffocated under that cover. Further to this, there are also theories boyfriend may have planned this outcome intentionally, with speculation extending to the co-worker he gave a lift to, who could possibly be aware or involved. So on the day of her disappearance, Patti went to work as usual at the Honda plant. She completed her shift and as planned clocked out just seconds after midnight. It's said that co-workers recalled later that she did appear hurried and eager to leave. After leaving the factory that night, Patti Adkins was never seen or heard from again. One of the more eerie parts of this case has to be when Patti's sister, Marcia, became involved in the investigation. At the time of Patti's disappearance, having spent all day trying to get hold of her sister to no avail, Marcia eventually started trying to contact the boyfriend in the early evening. And this is a man she has never met, nor his wife, but in desperation, initially getting through to the wife, Marcia posed as a customer of the husband's auto repair shop, requesting to speak to him about a supposed car repair. When he was eventually reached, he straight out lied, giving evasive explanations and claiming he barely knew Patti, other than she was just another co-worker at Honda. Despite Marcia pressing for answers, he continued to deny any romantic involvement, remaining perfectly calm, though both he and the wife stayed on the phone with Marcia for nearly an hour. The boyfriend and the friend he claimed to have dropped off that night gave police a specific account, saying they had driven to their hometown, waited in the drive-through line at Burger King to get food, and then he had dropped off the co-worker at his home before returning home in the early hours of the morning. However, the Burger King manager at the location they specified said he had never witnessed such a wait in the drive-thru, especially that late at night. When Patti failed to return, police searched her home. Nothing immediately significant was found, though investigators seized her financial records and computer for closer examination. It was through this review that detectives discovered Patti had withdrawn a large sum over the course of the previous year. The money had come from her personal savings, and she had even borrowed against her 401k to access additional funds. Her sister Marcia also confirmed that this had been a source of ongoing tension between them, because she knew that Patti had spent nearly a decade carefully saving money and was now rapidly depleting it. Despite these concerns, Patti had remained insistent that the money was a loan and that the boyfriend would repay it. What remained unclear, however, was where the money ultimately went. Whilst investigators were able to document the withdrawals themselves, there was no clear financial trail showing that these funds were deposited into or transferred through the boyfriend's accounts. This absence of a paper trail led to the belief that Patti may have been withdrawing large sums of cash and giving them to him directly over time. As a result, law enforcement could not conclusively prove that the money ever changed hands, leaving a significant gap in financial evidence. This uncertainty raised more questions, because if the boyfriend had been secretly using the money to pay off business debts or other financial obligations unknown to his wife, and then her involvement may have been minimal or non-existent. Alternatively, if the couple had been living beyond their means or spending heavily during that period, would suggest a more deliberate and coordinated financial deception. It raises questions about the wife's awareness. She may not have known about the relationship or the money until after Patti disappeared, choosing afterwards to stand by her husband. But it's equally possible that she remained in denial or genuinely believed he had no involvement in what happened. Ultimately, the lack of definitive financial proof meant that these possibilities could neither be confirmed nor ruled out. As the investigation continued, police uncovered evidence that contradicted the boyfriend's claim that his relationship with Patti was purely professional. Investigators found a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt that Patti had given him, along with several other personal items linking the two more closely than he admitted. Police also located the truck bed covering under which Patti was said to have hidden at the boyfriend's workplace. Despite this, he continued to deny any romantic involvement. Claiming the only gift he received from Patti was a birthday card that he later destroyed to prevent his wife from finding it. Investigators later searched the boyfriend's truck bed and discovered cat hair and traces of blood. Testing confirmed that the hair belonged to one of Patti's cats, while the blood sample was too small to determine whether it was human or animal. Cadaver dogs later alerted beneath a seemingly new concrete slab in the boyfriend's backyard. The area was excavated, but nothing was ever found. Further to this, speculation round the Honda plant in Marysville may have been undergoing construction, with concrete being poured on the same weekend Patti went missing. Her family reportedly asked for a search of the area, but the plant's size and the fact that it is a private property made this impossible to further investigate. 5 years on from her disappearance, Patti was officially declared deceased. From the moment she clocked out to go on her secret trip with the boyfriend, all of her financial and personal records showed no activity. There was never any more contact from Patti with family, friends, or any of her accounts. It comes as no surprise that during the investigation, the boyfriend failed a polygraph test, with law enforcement noting clear signs of deception. He continued to claim that Patti had been nothing more than a co-worker, despite colleagues observing their growing closeness over time. He later resigned from his position at the Honda plant. While all circumstances point undoubtedly to the boyfriend as responsible for Patti's death, there exists no concrete evidence directly linking him to the crime, and therefore he has walked a free man for nearly 25 years. This awful tragedy has meant that Patti's daughter, Michaeli, has grown up without her mum. With the support of family, Michaeli earned a PhD in behavioral neuroscience. She has spent most of her life without answers about what happened to her mother. This case is not only about unanswered questions, but about the lives permanently altered in its aftermath. Despite years of investigation, many important questions about Patti Adkins' disappearance remain unanswered. Her final movements, the missing money, and the true circumstances of that night are still unknown. And it is still unclear whether anyone else was involved. Even decades later, her daughter and family have had to live with uncertainty and a lack of closure until new evidence is found or the case is reviewed. Patti's disappearance remains unresolved, leaving her family with a deep sense of loss. and please leave your thoughts and opinions on this case in the comment section. If anyone has any information, please contact Union County Sheriff's Office Crime Tip Hotline. I will leave the details in the description box. Thank you, everyone, so much